Ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday. Welcome everyone to Itapukuian's Place to Be Reviews. It's Saturday night's main event. It's like, I don't want to insult everyone else on the panel, but it's like the B-roll. You got your homeboy Monotony here tonight, Tony Tone Deaf, guest hosting with an A-list of celebrity panelists that I'm glad to have here. So let's waste no time. First, what's up to the chat? Hail to Keely Chow, hail to Godzillionaire. Good to see all of you. And first on the docket, we have the I only remember the saying, Draven. It's the vampire that never sleeps or swallows.
I don't sparkle, but I sure do shine or some shit. But yeah.
Yes. What's up, brother? How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I slept most of the day away because I got to switch back to nights going back to work, but I'm good. I was going to go to the movies this morning. I woke up because we were up kind of late last night, and I'm like, fuck it, and I'll just see it tomorrow. But, yeah. But it's good to be here.
Yes, definitely. Sorry, I'm getting an error message. So it looks like we won't be on Rumble tonight because I don't have I was supposed to get ETAP's login info and ended up not happening. So yeah, it looks like we'll be exclusive to YouTube tonight, which is all good. No issues there. Yeah, thanks for being here, Draven, definitely. Next up, we have... Yeah, man, for sure. Next up, we have the author and creator of Infinitel Chronicles. Here tonight, live in the flesh, Mr. Chris Fisk. How are you, sir?
Oh yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. God, I can't believe how long it takes to print a ghost face mask. Holy crap. I got my FDM printer. I fired it up this morning thinking, oh, yeah, it'll probably be like, 4 hours, 5 hours? We're going on about 9 hours right now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how long it took to 3D print until we had a couple conversations, man. You're talking about, like, putting certain figures onto print and then going to bed and waking up the next day and they're basically exploded. Like, just a fucking... Yeah. Pile of resin.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I mean, I'm fully comfortable working in resin printing, which is just basically a gap, like a big vat of goop, and you just drop something in, and then it just exposes like little layers of light, and you slowly pull that like thing from the goop. That's totally I'm totally fine with that. But this new one is an FDM printer, which it's a filament instead. And it's got a little robotic arm, and it moves back and forth, and it kind of like poops out like this like little bit of like moist toothpaste like filament, and then it hardens as it dries, and it's like literally drawing this thing, and it's like slower, but like the plastic that it gives you is a lot more durable. Like those little terrain tiles I've been working on, like I've dropped those on the floor and everything, and they're totally fine. Like I dropped one resin figure on the floor once. I'm still finding pieces of it across the house.
Jesus. It just kind of the resin kind of shatters.
Yeah, the resin gives you a better print. Like your figures look a lot better. There's no like barring or lining in it. But they're super fragile. Like you gotta like treat these things like they're made out of like mercury or something. Don't tip them over.
I've got to ask you because I don't know too much about 3D printing yet, but like filament versus resin, is this like Betamax VHS thing, or like where one's going to eventually dominate over the other, or do they both kind of like will one evolve to the point where the other will become obsolete?
I can see a lot of pros and cons on both. Like especially if you're like a cosplayer and you're like cosplaying like costume parts, you're gonna want filament. I mean, you're gonna do some sanding after it comes off the printer and do a little bit of post printing touch-up work. But more or less, you're gonna get something that if you sneeze or fart or something, it won't explode. Whereas the resin is more for like super fine sculpt details for like figurines. Like I wouldn't make an action figure out of resin. mainly because if you have to assemble parts for like articulation, the moment you like grind something too much or like try to pop a socket in, it'll just crack and break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it'd probably be nice if they can come up with some sort of like give to it or flexibility, but like that's beyond my knowledge as far as if it would even work.
Everything
Without
that I've had 3D printed for me has been the filament. Stuff.
I never thought I'd be one of those guys doing the 3D stuff, the 3D printing, but like, dude, I've been hooked ever since Scotsman and Sim got me hooked up on the resin stuff.
Mhm.
That's awesome, man. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of resin, and I don't mean poor man's hash, ladies and gentlemen, we've also got the old man hillbilly, Pop Cyclops himself, the super fan, Adam Shawhan. How are you tonight, brother?
I'm doing good. I got a whiny wiener dog, though. Whining away. I'm doing great, man. I'm so happy to be here and see you hosting the show. So thank you, Tony, for taking the time to do this tonight.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for being here. And hail to Zombie Box Reviews. Thank you for joining us tonight on a Saturday, Tone Deaf Saturday, whatever. This very special, this Christmas episode of Saturday Night's Main Event.
Interesting. It is the eve before my birthday, so it's like,
Ooh. So. Your birthday's tomorrow?
No, my birthday eve of
so Monday.
So Monday is my birthday.
Yeah.
Well, happy early birthday, bro.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
25 is a big year in any young man's life.
I wish I was 25. Shit.
Yeah, me too, man.
And last but not least, we've got the man himself coming to you live from your mother's bedroom. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Gentle Morning Penis.
Yeah. I'm the AFK tard tonight. I'm still at home. I'm out at my buddy's house. I'm fooling around. Where his 9-year-old son is wrecking people on Fortnite.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm sorry, my daddy just put down the controller.
I still can't. My bad, dude. No, I'm just saying, I can't believe I haven't played freaking Fortnite yet. It's free, and I'm just like,
do it.
It's like women, unless I have to pay, I just don't appreciate it,
I just think it's pretty funny. The kid's like 9 and he's just wrecking people. We're over there getting, we're doing our thing in the other room, smoking up whatever, and we come back and we just geeking out watching him fucking wreck people on Fortnite. It's fun. Now,
when you're saying you're smoking up whatever, I need to know, is it resin or filament?
anything that'll burn at this point.
Straight Hunter Biden status, like
that's
searching the fucking carpet for Parmesan.
Yeah. If I had a nickel for every time I smoked a bug leg, I wouldn't. I'd have a few nickels. I could afford better bug legs.
Yeah. Fuck it, the WEF would be happy. Thank you for being here tonight, bro.
Didn't you know if it was filament or resin?
Yeah. I figure I'd check in for a little while, at least say hi,
Hell yeah, dude. Well, it's a pleasure having you here, brother.
Right on. Thank you. Thanks for the
Hell yeah. Our first story tonight, I had some stories I wanted to talk about, Rumble exclusive, but we can get to them eventually. At least kind of lightly trot over them, though. I am a little bummed the Rumble isn't working. It did that during the SummerSlam stream as well. Like, I haven't set up Rumble to, like, pick up a stream. You know, I haven't set StreamYard up to go through my Rumble yet on my personal channel. So I've only set up a couple streams here for ETAP, and every time I do, for some reason, it errors out on the Rumble side. So I will get that figured out for next time, guys. But yeah, for tonight, what do we have here? Where is this freaking article?
If you're
Okay,
having
so
issues with it airing out, it's probably your URL and stream key that need to be updated here on StreamYards.
okay. Yeah, I'll talk to ETAP about it. So this is interesting. I don't know what this is off of, but it looks like we have 61 likes here and 1,000 dislikes, which I think is justified. Woke museum, which is scary, like woke history. Woke museum literally erases J.K. Rowling in an insane social justice stunt. And this is, I mean, it's not like the Washington Examiner or this is going through MSN.com. It's not like they're particularly known for their extreme right-wing views, but even they're calling this insane. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, one of the most influential and successful women in the world, but even though she's a liberal feminist who went from rags to riches, the most extreme social justice activists have been turning on Rowling in recent years because she's dared to stake out a centrist position on gender issues, which we all know, I mean, it's a cult. You either go along with the narrative or you will be outcasted. It doesn't matter who you are or what you've done for the movement in the past. And that's what tends to happen with just the mob mentality. You know, they eventually begin to eat their own. And yeah, we're seeing that right now with J.K. Rowling. The Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle recently announced that it's removing mentions of Rowling from its Harry Potter collections. In a bizarre blog post announcing this shift, a transgender employee writes, "There's a certain cold, heartless, joy-sucking entity in the world of Harry Potter, and this time it's not actually a Dementor." Now, I just want to, it's kind of weird because these people grew up reading Harry Potter, watching Harry Potter, and idolizing it. It's kind of like their Star Wars, you know? They fucking had their wands and played wizard and whatever else, and now they're so angry at this woman.
Mm-hmm. For what?
I mean, for just literally daring to say that women are women, which used to be like, you know, the feminist mantra was women fighting for their own spaces and their place in society and in the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, I don't know when they say a transgender activist, I don't know if it's female to male, male to female, but if it's a male to female straight writing this blog post and helping to erase J.K. Rowling from the Pop Culture Museum, it's I mean, quite the anti-feminist position to take. Like a guy is literally erasing her place in history, her contribution to pop culture.
That's the problem with Marxism, man, is doublethink, you know, holding two contrary thoughts that diametrically, it has always been like this. When I first saw the, you know, the rise of the Troons, I was like, how is that even remotely able to exist in the realm of feminism? Because those two ideologies are diametrically opposed.
Yeah. I remember people pointing it out back in the day that eventually they're going to, you know, they may be working together now, but they will come head to head eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Their fundamental belief structures are at direct odds with one another. You know, like, feminism basically believes that men and women, the only difference is a social construct, and that any female physiology or psychology or anything is all made up. It's the same as men. So men and women are identical in every way, shape, or form except for their genitals. And yeah, so anything a man can do, a woman can do, and probably better, because, you know, it is a supremacist movement. Whereas transgenderism is this belief that no, men and women are biologically different, and that a person can be born with the wrong brain inside of the wrong body, essentially, like a mismatch of a female brain inside of a male body, and vice versa, which again is in direct contrast to what was just stated about feminism. So how these cartoon characters who've been masquerading as real people can actually like say this shit with like believe this crap with a straight face and be like, oh yeah, I'm an ally, dude, you just contradicted yourself.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, with them, there's no truth but power. So the contradictions and everything, that doesn't matter. That's, it's not like they're out there seeking to be honest. They just want to gain control of authority and then use it against anyone who opposes them.
I know. And the worst part is where, like, we all know where it's going to culminate. And it involves a lot of bulldozers and black and white footage of limp bodies being pushed into, ditches and stuff. This has happened before.
Yeah. And people like us are sitting here watching it slowly unfold. It's with this dagger hanging over all of our heads. Like we saw this coming years ago. And it's like, yeah, people are starting to wake up, but not nearly quick enough. And there's far too much glitter in the carpet already for for any chances are any resolution to this isn't going to be optimal is all I'm saying. So
no, we're well past the part of diplomatic resolution.
Yeah. And this just kind of like my nephew was born 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So he grew up watching the Harry Potter movies. I would watch him with him. I'd read the books to him. And, I do. Like, I'm where, like, feminism itself, especially, like, today's version of feminism, I'm definitely not with. But I will agree that it takes a lot more to being a woman than just lipstick and a name brand handbag, like when I first heard of the Battle of the Sexes, I remember I was in my uncle's car. He's taking us to school and they would have this like little spot on the morning show, on the radio, and they would pit a woman versus a man, and they called it Battle of the Sexes, and they asked him questions and whatever else. But that's when I first heard of it, and I thought it was the stupidest concept, because even back then, as like a sixth grader, I knew that men needed women and women needed men as a whole for the species to survive and just to have a better life, and to see how like blown out this whole movement has become. It kind of blows my mind. Like, we really are grown toddlers to a certain extent. Can you guys excuse me for a quick second? I'm sorry about that.
Like women's rights in general is a lie, because they didn't want it to begin with. They didn't want women's rights because they would have responsibilities that they didn't necessarily want.
Well,
and the government needed a way to figure out how to tax the rest of the population. So give them the right to vote, and there you go.
It's not even like, so, if you delve deep into the suffragettes, the Pankhurst there and those other screeching harpies, like you'll see things like the white feather movement, where these worthless parasitic women who are, bored housewives of rich politicians, essentially, kind of like Tipper Gore. They basically screeched and bitched and whined until they got a platform, and they used these white feathers to shame men into, like, able-bodied men that they saw on the streets or publicly. They would hand them a white feather to humiliate them, to show that they were cowards for not enlisting in World War I to go get blown up in some trench.
Jesus.
And here's the thing: is none of these bitches did it themselves. No, none of them volunteered to go fight, because it was a man's place to fight and die for these entitled cows. And here's the sickest part of it all: a lot of the men that died in World War I died for a country in which they couldn't even vote for or vote in, and they weren't these same suffragettes were not advocating for all women's votes, just rich white women. and they weren't even advocating for all men's votes. So yeah, it just shows the self-entitlement of these narcissists.
Yeah,
And
which
the
continues
biggest,
to this day.
the biggest contribution to quote unquote equality is not feminism. All of the crap that you hear feminists taking credit for is a lie. If you dig deep enough, you will find that it's all garbage. The biggest contributor, modern technology and capitalism. Those are your two biggest contributors to female equality. You know, like, oh, you want women in the workforce? Sure, we'll put them in there. Like, congratulations. Now they're, you know, their husband is now the state or the company. Like, congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not having kids? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, who wants to be a successful homemaker when you can be a girl boss?
Yeah, where you can be an office maker instead and climb some hollow corporate ladder that cheats you out of you know, when you're 60 or 70 and you're in an old folks home because you have no legacy to protect you from third worlders that were imported as orderlies that beat the crap out of you and film it on TikTok. Yeah, good job,
and
girls.
Laugh about it.
Yeah, it's a horrifying fate, dude. Like, there are women now who like baby boomers, a lot of baby boomers. And this is really scary how modern culture, because of the Marxist infection, has told us to not respect our elders or to not listen to the wisdom of the ages. These are women who have lived through baby boomers saying, hi, I'm dying alone. My cats are going to eat my bloated corpse. Feminism was a bad poison pill. It's not something you should be doing. This girl boss thing will not get you where you think it will.
Yeah.
But you know, youth knows better. The arrogance of youth.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but there's a certain attitude within not all women, but a lot of them, and this is probably what drives them towards feminism. You know, if you tell certain women who are swimming in the lake that they need to come up for air every now and then, they have the "I'll show you, motherfucker" attitude, and they'll purposely not come up for air even if it's to their own detriment.
Yep. And that's arrogance. Yeah, that's the hubris of narcissism. Yeah. Well, it's the defiance of a child that was never corrected.
Yeah.
Well, what's sad is we've lived long enough to literally watch them bitch about men being sexist in the workplace, and now we're seeing women bosses doing the exact same thing.
And worse.
So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. What's up, Hicksville, how you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us.
Like, it boils my blood, though, with Joe Rowling in particular, because Joe Rowling created a product, okay? This is her, like, Harry Potter wouldn't exist without this chick. And they're Stalining her out of her own product because they cannot reconcile that this woman won't swim with the piranha or, you know, stay in line with the Marxist agenda when she's followed along for 99% of it. But yet one thing, she's like, look, reality is telling me something different than this whole, like, you know, put on a dress and still have a penis and you're a girl.
Yep. And what's up, Frankie Knows? Thank you. Good to see you, brother.
Or even Chris, pass the pizza, you know.
I want to tell Frankie you better wear a condom, but I just don't think that'll be enough with some of these crazy ones out there.
There's all the pause.
Yeah. And we've also got someone else joining the panel here, Mr. Vinny Art. How are you, sir?
Hey, fellas. I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Good.
Are we exclusive on Rumble yet?
So the Rumble aired out, so we're not going to be able to make it over there because I don't have UTEP's login info, which I'm bummed out. I was so excited to go over to Rumble and talk about certain things, but like right now we're talking about they're deleting J.K. Rowling from the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle.
Why?
I keep wanting to say the wrong word. Some transgendered person. Yeah.
That doesn't know if it has a penis or a vagina.
Well, that's the thing. We're talking about like how ironic it is that J.K. Rowling like spent her life fighting for women's rights and women to have a place in the world, and now we have a guy dressed up as a girl writing blog posts calling her cold and heartless and joy sucking and erasing her from the museum of pop culture.
Isn't it always a man who's trying to destroy a woman like that?
I don't. It's the one time I will side with feminism and blame them for something.
Mhm.
You know, this is ridiculous.
Come on, that's hilarious.
Godzillionaire said no hard R's tonight, Draven.
Oh, sorry. What about Wiggler? Is that okay? What about those
That's
dirty
right. We got the
wigglers?
dark wiggler up in here, I'm sure. What's up, my nibblers?
There we go.
It's me, the Dark Wiggler. I come to wiggle in the dark.
Yeah, so it sucks what they're doing to her. Even in the 20-year reunion on HBO Max, they were using like interviews from J.K. Rowling from like 2017, 2013. It's like this is her creation, you guys. Like, and you want to take it for yourself now. And yeah, it's just again,
I made
grown
this.
toddlers walking around. Yeah, I made this. Geez,
Great.
so yeah, that just kind of like, because look, in a certain way, Joe Rowling brought this on herself.
Yeah.
You know, like during Trump's first reign, she really would tweet some not reign, but term. She would tweet some cringy shit out. And it's kind of like same with Bill Maher, wishing for a recession or whatever it'll take to get Trump out. And now he's out. Yeah. And he's complaining about the consequences of his own actions, words, and vote. And it's like, well, at least you're sitting on a pile of money to kind of help things go a little smoother. A lot of us out here don't know what was it, a year and a half ago, Vinny's worried about printing his book because of a paper shortage.
Yep.
You know, just everything has gone to hell.
Be careful what you wish for. Trump's out of office, you know.
It's because of these elitists. So in a certain way, I don't feel bad for J.K. Rowling, but as an artist and just as trying to be a fair person, I do, at least in the sense that this is her creation. This is what pulled her out of the gutter, pulled her away from an abusive relationship, and allowed her to live such a gracious life. So,
sorry.
Yeah, just go create your own fantasy fucking world, assholes.
Well, that's the problem is, as that Tolkien quote, evil cannot create, it can only corrupt and destroy.
Yeah.
And I saw that over a decade ago when I was in the gaming industry, when Kotaku, that parasitic tampon of a rag, they call a blog site or whatever, was talking about like it's a man's world and that gamers are dead and you don't have to, they're not your primary audience anymore and all this stuff. It was the feminist incursion. And I watched it unfold over the years of me working in that industry when they started, conversations which were originally about mechanics and how we could get financially incentivized players to do X, Y, Z turned into costume changes because they were problematic, and power dynamics between the male and female characters, and the racial undertones of dialogue because, quote unquote, that sounds like a white man writing a black man's lines, and just these insane, like, that was over just, in about a decade. And it's, it's only gotten worse since then. And these are the people that, like, you see them in Kotaku all the time. You see them on these forums. They're parasites that are, like, trying to wrest creative control from the actual creators, but yet they don't have the wherewithal to do anything themselves because they're untalented, fat, and lazy.
Of course.
Shout out to Jeremy Gash at Kotaku, by the way. One thing they're doing, though, Chris, they've gone so far off the deep end, Kotaku specifically, that they're red pilling people. Like, in the past year, I saw all of the media. We all saw the media attack Super Mario Brothers movie. And a lot of these video game and Nintendo YouTubers and journalists and people that cover the industry saw that, and it was confusing to them. Like, why would you talk that way about the Mario movie, you know? But then Kotaku, when Metroid Dread came out last year, they wrote, what seems to be an unprovoked article basically telling people the best way to experience Metroid Dread is through emulation. Basically,
pirate their games.
Yeah, all but telling them to pirate, and that pissed Nintendo off. So then Tears of the Kingdom, we're a couple months away from release to that, and Nintendo invited a bunch of YouTubers and journalists and critics and everyone to their headquarters all around the world. Nintendo of Europe, Nintendo of America, their main headquarters in Japan, and allowed people to play a very limited section of the game, and they didn't invite Kotaku. So then Kotaku went on this, again, we know these people are always the victim. They went on this like crusade against Nintendo and about how unfair they are. And they were trying to get the court of public opinion on their side to force Nintendo's hand, but it didn't work because anyone who cares enough to even read their articles knew what they did with Metroid Dread. So if there's one positive about Kotaku, they sure are red pilling a lot of people who had nothing to do with politics or the culture war or any of that. So
just gamers, man.
Well, that's the thing is gamers are enemies.
Yeah, it's like we were watching the Vec last night or whatever, and they were talking about media and all this stuff. And it's basically like media Darwinism basically taking over at this point, where people are waking up and it's just the shit is gonna just die like by the wayside.
Well, you know, the scary part is a lot of these articles, Draven, it's written off of like MSNBC will come out with sources say this happened, and then 50 other websites say, well, according to MSNBC, this happened, and it's a completely fake story. But the parent company of Kotaku, which they own all kinds of these little websites and all kinds of different industries and stuff, they're going all AI. They're getting rid of their journalists, and we already know, like, you can ask AI a question and it'll straight up tell you something false, and you'll be like, no, that's false, and it'll argue with you on why it's right. So imagine what happens when one AI writes some crazy shit and all the other AIs pick up off of it, and next thing you know, there's 1,000 articles about just some crazy shit out there. You know, that's a danger, you know, just speaking of Kotaku. But
or I like when they do was it circular referencing?
Well, what is a woman?
Yeah.
A woman.
Yeah. No. That's just friggin' weird speak. But like, I'm talking about like where a article will like cite its source, and then the source that it cites, you go to that website, and it cites the article you just came from as its source.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
What's up, Trina? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a good weekend.
Hey, Trina. Yeah, sorry guys, my internet went again. So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got big chunks of the gist of what was going on before it shit the bed again. But it's madness, right? That's like you said, all these people, they have money to fall back on. Yeah, it's great. Her project got her out of her situation, but then look what happens. They take the bait. They'll do whatever they have to. It's like, compromise all your values, and we'll make your projects even more incredible. Here's millions and millions of dollars. We're going to do a theme park. We're going to do movies. You're going to have a massive franchise, but you need to help push this propaganda. You know,
her massive franchise got canceled. Fantastic Beasts. Like, she can write a book, but she can't write a screenplay to save her life.
No.
Well, I didn't mind Fantastic Beasts.
Sorry, the woke shit turned me off instantly. Like, like the first one I didn't mind. I kind of like what's his face there. The
that was
autistic
a good movie.
Yeah, the first one. Like I liked. He was kind of this like oddball that was like a creature collector, kind of like Weasley's cousin there or whatever. But like
Yep.
the second one, it like opens with like a gay lunch dinner or dinner scene and stuff, and I'm like, what does this have to do with wizards and shit? What the hell is this?
You mean the third one does? The third one opens up with it with
that's the third
Dumbledore.
one.
Oh,
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's closet or whatever.
Dumbledore
Yeah.
and whatever the other. I guess he's supposed to turn into
Grindelwald,
Yeah,
which is
Grindelwald.
weird. It would be like if Voldemort and Harry were fucking. Like, it's just weird. Or like
Disgusting.
Batman and the Joker
Yeah,
were
it's
fucking. Like,
perverse.
it's weird. It's
Mhm.
weird. What's up, Carl? It's great to see you, man. It really is, and that's something like she wouldn't even admit Dumbledore was gay until the books were over with. You
Mhm.
know?
Well, yeah, because she knew it would bite into their sales
Mhm.
if people were like, "Oh, you're pushing gay shit on us." Like,
Which proves that this is all orchestrated.
it is.
If
It's a
she was
virtue signal.
Well, if she was genuine about this stuff, she would have just said it while she was writing the books. She waited until it was all done, which means she had a compromise with the people who told her to put it in.
Yep. Well, it's kind of like when they tried to make Hermione black when they did the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Broadway, and they're like, "I never expressly said how she looked if she was white or black," and yet there's illustrations of her as white, and there's descriptions of her in the book as a pale girl with red hair.
Right.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
And you know, you had a hand in casting the movies.
Maybe
Yeah.
And you said that you wanted. Well, she said she wanted a girl that reminded her of herself because that's what she's based on, not a black girl from Harlem.
But maybe she was a black ginger, like the one in a Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
But guys,
black
it doesn't
ginger?
matter because now she IDs it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you know.
no, it's kind of like what Disney did, where they alienated their entire demographic. Like, if you have a core market and you're capturing like 90% of your income coming in likes pizza, for example, like say pretend you're like a pizza restaurant or whatever, and then out of nowhere one day you start saying, well, we're going to start offering fewer and fewer options for pizza, and we're going to start cycling in like seafood. Like,
No,
all of the
matzo ball
people-
soup. That's it.
well, no, seafood, because fucking seafood's gross. But
I love
anyways,
seafood.
I know.
Matzo ball soup's fantastic.
I do too.
So-
See?
so anyways, as I'm trying to make this analogy,
Mhm.
your entire demographic that you've made your business off of, the 90 percentile, are like, seafood's fucking gross. I'm not going to eat that shit. You can't sit there and call these people racist or seafood-ophobes or whatever and expect them to stick a fucking round and buy your shitty seafood when they came here for the pizza. You know, and that's how Disney lost all their stuff. They're like, we're a family-friendly. You could babysit your kid with our shitty DVDs. You know, pop it in, and your kid can watch cartoon princesses like pretend to fight fairies or something. Okay, there you go. Boom. You got animated dogs and whatever. So all of a sudden, parents are like, oh, why are there like two black chicks kissing? What is? Oh my, what's going on? Like, I can't leave my kid in front of the TV for this shit.
Mhm.
So the 90% of the market's like, well, fuck this, I'm out. And they took their entire business with them because Disney's rationale was, well, we're trying to expand that 90% to 100%. And it's like, yes, but that other 10% is now turning off your 90%. And that's exactly what happened with Joe Rowling. She had Harry Potter, completely innocuous. You know, the only people that were freaking out over Harry Potter were the hardcore right-wingers who were like, it's witchcraft! Oh my God, JD Jesus! And that was a very small market. And the majority of people are like, dude, calm your shit. It's just a fucking kids movie, whatever. You know, like the books blew up. I think they were like the number 3 or number 4 printed book all around the world or something, like followed by Lord of the Rings and the Bible.
Yeah.
So it was like that's your market. That's your pizza lovers. That's your pizza lovers.
Mhm.
And now Joe Rowling's like, well, let's get that other 10%. Let's make Dumbledore, with poop on his pee-pee. Let's put in freaking romance shit that like nobody wants. Like, there are adult themes in this kid series
Mhm.
that are not suitable for kids. And you completely alienated your market. Like the 90 percentile, like, I came here for pizza. What is this seafood? Well, you're an istophobe or what? Okay, fine. And then when Joe Rowling, who's a cautionary tale of what happens when you go along with ideologues, okay? This is why the majority of people are not hardcore right wing or hardcore left wing. Most of us are centrists, whether we want to admit it or not. We're centrists with leaning in one side or the other. That's where you should be looking for your markets, not these like extremes, not the polar extreme of left wing, because the moment you defy their ever shifting dogma, they will turn on you. And that's what they did to her. She's now excised from her own product. The weird, fruity, gay love romance crap with the Dumbledore's closet, whatever. We're never going to see more of that shit. It's not going to sell. It's done. It's garbage. Nobody wanted it. Nobody, you're not going to make money. You killed that franchise. And yet, had you stayed in that middle lane and stayed centrist and been like, look, maybe we'll make more. We'll explore the Weasleys over in Romania tracking dragons, or continue what we did with the autistic guy collecting creatures. Like, you would have made bank. You would have expanded your universe, but instead you got to put all this other shit in.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, JK. You did it to yourself.
You get what you deserve.
Don't be a Christophobe. He's right. He's right, except for the fish part.
Yeah.
Fish
fish part, Chris.
No, I know.
I can't eat
I make
fish
a
or
terrible Asian.
seafood.
Yeah, I don't eat anything that swims, slithers, crawls, or responds to a name. I make a terrible Asian.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh,
So
you guys are hilarious.
do you guys want to laugh and then cry and then laugh again out of hysteria?
Sounds
Okay.
like Saturday night.
Like, I'm gonna make you laugh and cry at the same time here.
Threaten me with a good time.
The Biden admin to spend $1.2 billion to vacuum sky of carbon dioxide.
What is this? Baseball?
It went from blow to suck.
Oh my god. They are just here's a giant plate of bullshit. Eat it, everyone. Eat it.
Yeah.
Eat it or you're a bigot. We're gonna cancel you and we're gonna take every red cent from you.
Oh, dude,
Here.
they're just stealing our money, man.
Put this chip in your hand and sign up to the digital currency, and then when you don't eat that plate of bullshit, we're gonna take it all from you.
Yeah.
Now, do I agree we can pull resources out of the sky, out of the atmosphere? Yeah, eventually, and use it for something productive, sure. But number one, it's like, you notice how it slowly devolved to carbon dioxide. Like 10, 15 years ago, it was carbon monoxide that was the problem. Mm-hmm. And before that, it was CFCs or whatever else. But it's like, it just kind of moved to carbon dioxide out of nowhere. And it's like they literally never talk about the carbon monoxide coming out of cars anymore. It's all about carbon dioxide.
Plant food?
Yeah, I was going to say tree food, so this ought to make Joe Biden's green lobbyists, green energy lobbyists happy. They're spending $1.2 billion. We've got a homeless epidemic. We've got $1 trillion going over to Ukraine. We're building Israel's walls and sending money here and there, and $25 million to Pakistan for gender studies. And remember, we didn't have $3 billion to build a wall on our own border.
Mm-hmm.
$1.2 billion in order to vacuum carbon dioxide out of the air.
Thank God.
The United States Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, announced Friday that her agency would be funding 2 projects to deploy technology known as direct air capture. I can do that with an empty jug of milk. Like,
one sec. I think it should be mandatory for every one of those people who are in a position like that. After they say their name, they should give their salary next to their name.
Yep.
And then
he already does, Higgsville.
Yeah. Oh.
Biden should just fucking huff the cow fart straight from the source.
Isn't methane gas more dangerous anyway? Because
it's flammable.
Well, I don't know. Well, let me look it up.
Well, that kind of bullshit's always in the air every time Kamala Harris opens her mouth or laughs.
Well,
yeah.
What I don't understand is, like, there's all this. Oh, we got to do this. 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 Why? We're just taking their word for it.
Yeah, exactly. Which it blows my mind because, Republicans helped block Trump's wall. We don't, $3 billion. We don't have that to spend on a wall. But Biden's not pulling this money out of nowhere. It had to have been congressionally approved, right?
Yeah, he's stealing it from us. I mean, this is the same way that he, laundered it to Best Buy, the same way that he's using his son to launder it to our enemy in the South Pacific in the East. I can't say anymore because we're on YouTube, but this is basically wealth redistribution. They are obliterating the American economy intentionally for free fall demolition,
which is part of what Yuri Bezmenov. It's like step 3 or whatever.
Crisis,
and it says here the projects were approved in Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure plan, even though the cities are still crumbling.
Oh, they're war zones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just, So what I want to point out here too is they're going to suck decades of old carbon pollution straight out of the sky. But carbon pollution being carbon dioxide. And isn't all carbon dioxide pretty old?
Yeah.
Like
it's also plant food.
Universal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if you remove carbon dioxide, plants will start dying.
Yep.
Which we're going to have deserts where there are forests.
Well, yeah, out here, I'm in a desert. I'm here in the Mojave Desert, and they've more or less removed, at least for the middle class, the poor, there's no grass anymore. I live across the street from a high school. They removed all the grass in the high school except for the football field, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't go to AstroTurf with that.
Mm-hmm.
No one has fucking grass in their front yards anymore that makes less than $500,000 a year. And that's supposed to be for the environment. Like, how is that better for the environment? Like, last I checked, life was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
all plants are good.
They're just they don't know what they're doing. It's the same thing during a certain pandemic when they're telling everyone to spread apart, but meanwhile Walmart has 2 entrances and 2 exits, and they're closing off one of the entrances and making everyone go through one entrance and crowd together to get in and leave through an exit. And I said back then, like, if you wanted to keep people separated and dispersed, you would have both entrances and exits open. That way, only half the people are going through each one instead of everyone crowding in the same area. And it's the same thing here. It's like, it makes no sense because solution isn't what they're looking for.
Right. This is just to mock us, to see how stupid people are and how much they'll comply to what they're being told. That's what it comes down to. And you said they have no idea what they're doing. No, they know exactly what they're doing. This is completely orchestrated on every possible fucking way.
Right here too, which is a little nuts. They're talking about carbon dioxide, but then they refer to it as fossil fuel. So carbon dioxide is suddenly a fossil fuel.
Okay.
So every time we exhale, it's a fossil fuel?
Yeah. Like if there was a problem with carbon dioxide buildup, all I'm saying is maybe we should leave the grass in our front yards.
Yeah.
Maybe we should plant more trees. That's how you get, like, it's insane. It's insane. Can I see maybe we affected the environment a bit, human population growing and cutting down all this wildlife. Yeah, I could see that throwing things off balance, but not enough to put a fucking $1.2 billion vacuum in the fucking sky, and good luck, everybody.
The solution is nuclear. Like, they keep trying to divert from nuclear, and that's the solution because it's the cleanest source of energy.
Yeah, nuclear nuclear energy that they all like wanted to disband and whatever.
Mhm.
They keep using what is it, Pripyat there, Chernobyl as a example of why nuclear shouldn't be used.
Mhm.
And it's
That
like
was communism.
you're using the incompetence of communism to justify not using an actually clean source of energy. I mean, this is like when Tesla invented broadcast energy and they buried it. All the oil companies destroyed all evidence of it because they couldn't bilk people out of money.
Well, that was how many
Energy
years
isn't
ago too?
smooth.
Like nuclear energy has come a long way since Chernobyl as well. Like to the point where it's less, like you have less of a chance of something like Chernobyl even happening now.
Oh yeah,
So it's like it's a moot
Listen,
point
guys.
because they can't make money off of this shit. That's
Guys.
Yep.
The 1%ers are right. The only way to save the environment is to eat bugs and give them all of our money. I thought you guys knew this. Come on.
Yeah. That'll make the weather better. And then not only that, but there is a polar shift happening. The magnetic poles are shifting in our globe right now. Like if you haven't noticed, the seasons are off quite a bit. Birds are sticking around. Like my dad even noticed it today, where he's like, "I just saw a fawn in the backyard." A fawn. It's like the end of summer, and there's a fawn, meaning that baby animals that are usually born in the spring, we're seeing now in late summer.
Yeah.
In 20 years from now, that fawn will be born in freaking December. But that they're using that to scare the intellectually lazy.
They are.
Oh, see, this is because you got a car.
See, my buddy was. Go ahead, Vinny.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they know that people are mentally challenged, and they know that people won't look up any of this stuff. That's why they keep feeding us all the bullshit. They keep here, watch another movie, watch another stupid program that means absolutely nothing. That's gonna have our messaging all over it, so you get used to it. So when it does come along, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is the way of the future. I saw it on a TV show, or I saw it on a movie. They do this shit.
Yeah, remember an inconvenient truth? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just going off of what Vinny said. It's just like how they thought all housewives were miserable in the 50s because the only way they depict them on TV is
miserable.
A miserable housewife popping pills and drinking while her drunk husband comes home and forces himself on top of her. Like that's how they always portray 50s housewives,
It's so sad because even the staunchest of feminists, I'm related to one. I've known them, and they have confessions, and they're like, "God, I wish I was just a kept woman." It's like you could have been,
right?
You can't now. You
get back in the kitchen, make a sandwich, and then bend over.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is like a housewife isn't just get back in. It's
I know.
And maybe this is like a Jewish
thing
too.
No. The women in the household are the ones that help raise the kids properly.
Yeah.
You need a certain balance. A father's going to teach discipline. A mother's going to teach the nurturing part of it. There's a reason why they're trying to destroy the family unit.
Well, it's two people can make a house, but it takes a woman to make a home. And like a part of that is that you have the guy, the hunter, the biologically designed guy that's expendable to go out there and kill the animals and bring the resources in. But what's he going to do with it? He gives it to his wife, who then says, "Hey, see this shitty cave? Yeah, now we live in a nice, luxurious mansion." Like women have a biological, there is something innately designed in them to make their environment comfortable around them. Men are not, they don't have that. That's why you see women making all these TikTok videos where they're like, look at what my boyfriend's apartment looks like. And it's like a camp lawn chair or whatever in front of a big screen TV. There's no couch or anything. And it's like, because men adapt to an environment, women adapt the environment to themselves, to their comforts.
Yeah.
And that's why we need women. And that's why women need men, because without men, they're not going to get any of those resources unless they get counterfeit resources. They're like going through male motions. And let's face it, how many women do you think would survive like stabbing a mammoth?
Yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned that men adapt their environments while women adapt the environment to around them, because I read a study recently. I may have even shared it to you guys in one of the chats, but it was talking about when boys and girls play with toys. Like if a boy's playing with a Batman action figure, he wants to learn everything about Batman so he can be Batman. You know, he wants the things he would say, the way he fights, just everything with that action figure. He wants to be accurate to what Batman is. But females, they change. Like if they're playing with the Batman, suddenly the Batman's going shopping and making a home, and you know they project themselves onto the action figures, while males want to they absorb themselves into what the action figure is.
And
They adapt to the
this is
action
why
figure.
James Gunn is going to keep failing, because he's making Batman go shopping, looking for children. I mean, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no,
Well,
no, dude, you just nailed it. Now I'm starting to understand why Marvel has gone to shit. You just described
Yeah.
it, where they
but not
now
just
have dinner
Marvel, the
parties.
country.
No, but like our feminist occupied and conquered media. It's now you have these god awful women who are projecting their own shit into male orientated media, where instead of Wolverine going and fighting the Sentinels in a dystopic future to rescue his friends, it's now Wolverine's part of a gay threesome with with Cyclops and Jean Grey, and they're going to a dinner party at the Hellfire Gala. Or going to prom.
Superman's a chick or gay.
Yeah,
one of the two.
That dude, you nailed it, man. I never thought of that. Holy shit! Like, yeah.
Well, I think it just speaks to the masculine and feminine mentality as a whole. And I mean, you kind of look at what HR departments have done to the workforce and the workplace. Like,
oh god, yeah.
They throw their ideals all over everything instead of adapting to what something is. Like, for the longest time when males were in charge, we adapted to what the country was, and things were kind of, running fine. Not perfect. We worked towards making things better, but now everything's gone off the fucking rails, and dude, women have a lot more political power than men. That's all I'm saying.
The more I'm thinking about what you're saying, dude, the more it sounds like Bolshevism and communism in general is a feminine thing. I mean, for example, Bolshevik marketing. Okay, marketing is you're identifying a need and you're providing a product for it. So therefore, it's supply. You are supplying a demand. Like people want to eat. Okay, well, what do they want to eat? They want to eat meat. Okay, I'm going to supply them with meat and make money. They will pay me for this. Whereas the Bolshevik marketing is, I think veganism is the way that everyone should live. So you're not supplying meat anymore. You're telling these people that want meat that they should eat veganism, they should eat vegetables, and you're providing only vegetables to them. You're telling them what they want. And that's exactly like the projection,
Yeah, and women want to be provided for. It's just like we always say, the state is now their husband.
Yeah,
authoritarian. Yeah, and then they project that. Well, I want the state to provide for me, but that's not enough. I need to spread my ideals. I need to project that out onto everyone else. And
wow,
yeah, because it's only
misogyny intensifying.
Yeah, it's the weak men who follow that ideology, the ones that get behind the unhappy women who chose the state or feminism over a loving family.
Yeah. I mean, they've traded one husband for another, and quite frankly, the new husband's an abusive asshole.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that's faceless. Huh.
Yeah, and lacks all accountability. You can't sue the government.
Yeah, it doesn't have to look you in the eye after it beat you for burning the roast or whatever. It can it's the state's your husband and you're just a number to it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's so I guess that's the cruel genius of feminism. I mean, these Marxists fucking nailed it, man. Like they couldn't win in the Western world. They couldn't win when the Bolsheviks took over Russia and they had the bourgeoisie versus the proletariats. They're like basically the farmers. That's why the communism symbol is a hammer and sickle. It represents the working class, the poor people. and they're like, we don't need nobility and aristocracy, like death to the bourgeoisie, the rich and the spoiled. Well, you can't do that in the West when we have things like class mobility, where the poorest guy who lands on Ellis Island can become one of the richest, robber barons or millionaires. So they chose sex as a divisive element instead of social
sex
class.
and race and everything they possibly could.
Yeah, it just has fragmented. It's become an aerosol of division.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is scary.
It is.
Yeah, it is. And you think we'd be smart enough? Like, I honestly thought at one point that my generation who saw the corruption, at a very young age, and I thought we were going to be the ones that grew up saying we need term limits and we need change and listening to Rage Against the Machine and just I thought we were going to be the ones to really
Who turned into Rage for the Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we would be the ones to like see that and actually make a difference and get things back on track, and instead it's like our generation and the following generations, the millennials and zennials, and they've fallen for it harder. Like they
It's like Rage
have more. They have more faith in the corruption.
It was the distractions. It was a distraction of the phone, which led to everything. Because now you have it all in the palm of your hand. You have this shit advertising all over the place. A culture that has fruit fly brain. They can't, their attention span is only about like fucking 4 seconds. This shit all contributed to it. So it's those people who grew up listening to all this stuff, Rage Against the Machine, they're gonna stick it to the man. Well, they got comfortable and lazy. They got fat and lazy. And again, they let the technology dictate their lives and the lives of their children, because that's what happened. Society crumbled because we let it. We let government poison everything. Everybody complied. Because that's what it is. If you look at anybody, like you mentioned J.K. Rowling before, and I wasn't just saying it as a joke. She drank the Kool-Aid. They said if you want stuff to happen, you have to follow this this game plan that we're doing everywhere. You have to put this stuff into your product, and she might have been willing to do it anyway. But most of these people have. Every celebrity talks about it. The ones that they blacklisted. Ice Cube mentions it too. They want you to comply to their narrative. That's the whole thing. That's what it's all about. And if you go against the machine, they destroy you and you have no more career. This is just how it's been. This is how they keep the bullshit going. This is how the government is tied to all this stuff, because they're pushing their agendas. They want people to consume this product. And what's the best way of doing it? Celebrity is the new royalty. So people who have millions and millions of followers, look at it across the board. You could say one negative thing about any movie star, and you're going to have a legion of their fans attack the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Whether it's fact or fiction.
Eminem accidentally, the other day, he did a video. He was talking about how he doesn't understand how anyone could vote for Trump. He said that Trump gets him so angry that he just becomes like befuddled and he can't find the words to describe it. But he's like, how could anyone, you think this guy cares about you? You think, what does this guy have in common with you that you would vote for him? They're so stupid. And it's like, dude, and this goes back to the celebrity thing too. It's like Eminem, I don't vote for Trump or anyone because I see myself in them, because I can relate to them, or I do what's best for the country. I listen to their policies and, their intentions as well. Politicians lie. Most of them have bad intentions, but same thing with celebrities. It's like they see themselves in the celebrity, they project themselves. So then when a loved family member who helped raises you tries to warn you about what they're doing or saying is wrong, it's their narcissism kicks in. Like, no, they wouldn't lie to me. I see myself in them. I don't know. It's just it's a window into their thought process.
Well, their argument is so flawed in the sense that they're saying that, okay, he's not relatable, he doesn't represent them, and blah 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 blah. Are you fucking telling me that the Bidens are like representative of you? Is like that could be said about any politician. We don't have a government. We have aristocrats. Mm-hmm. These are rich people that do not represent us. Find one that does the least damage. You think I like Trump? He's a big fat freaking loudmouth, okay? But guess what? He's our loudmouth. Mm-hmm. We actually performed, like, our economy was better. Like, I'll tell you right now, my 401k wasn't so damn scary. You know, like I wasn't terrified of resources not showing up. Like,
I'll say with Trump too, I've kind of felt bad for the guy. Like, he's had a far better life than I'll ever live, you know. But it's like, not only, like, he didn't have to go through all this. They're putting that guy and his family through hell because he saw something wrong. You hear all the stories about him stopping robberies and fucking seeing his security trying to kick a homeless woman off the street. And he's like, no. And gives her a room. And 15 years later, she's still there with flowers delivered to her every day from Trump and 3 meals a day. And Jennifer Hudson's family getting murdered. And he just hears about it on TV and it's like, gave her the penthouse in the Trump Tower in Chicago. And it's like, stay here as long as you need. Like, just, he goes around. This is before he ever ran for president. He's just going around trying to do for people, you know. My dad felt to Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, and like Affleck was pretty cool, but Jennifer Lopez was cold, man. She was cold. Trump, he's the guy fucking handing out $100 tips or fucking giving people startup money for their ideas. And then when their ideas become successful and they're like, you have my money, and they're like, yeah, and he hands the envelope back, he hands the check back, like, congratulations, now go double it, you know. Like, and he is a loudmouth, but it's like he's going after the people that want us to fucking eat bugs, you know. That's who he's shooting at. Like,
he's the only president whose net worth went down after he became a politician. So that does say something about him. But like, my thing is of all the virtues that you could extol upon Trump, his biggest one was his revelations of how fucking corrupt our government is.
Yeah.
Like, he was a bull in a china shop. He has no social nuance. He's not a slimy politician. He's a shrewd businessman. And I would rather have a shrewd businessman helping our businesses than a slimy politician who's, you know, basically stealing our tax money to stick a vacuum up Earth's ass.
Yeah. And what's up, another monster? Great to see you, buddy.
What up?
Hey.
Yeah, dude, Hicksville, I'm pretty sure Biden was born closer to Abraham Lincoln's inauguration than his own by a couple years. Yeah. It's insane. And that's the fundamental questions, you know, not to get all into politics now, but the most fundamental questions these deranged leftists can't answer, like, why didn't you hate Trump in 2014? Or how can you blame all these problems we're having on someone who's been in office for 4 years and then put your faith behind someone who's been in office for 50 years when over the past 50 years things have gotten progressively worse?
Yep.
They're never going to be into that because they know. They're
brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing. Yeah, we were listening to Megyn Kelly with Vivek on his podcast. Chris was I'm sorry, not Chris. Draven was playing that last night for us, and she broke it down in the clearest way as well. She's, you know, confirming that they use media to do that, to brainwash them, and they know that most people, they're not watching anymore, and the only people who are watching some of those channels are mostly the left. And then they're divided into different categories too of how extreme they are. And that's why some of them still have ratings, but it's all bullshit. And then they have tunnel vision because that's the point of it. They want these people to be that brainwashed. How do you avoid and skip over the facts of everything? when they've confirmed everything, you know, all the things that were conspiracy theory, that the government, the people behind the medical stuff, they've all said, yeah, no, this is true. Like they waited 6 months and then they go, oh yeah, that's true. Okay. And then no one's talking about it.
Yeah. Bezmenov talked about this, how once they're successfully demoralized, I mean, you can show them facts and you can show them video or documents or anything, and they just disregard it for what they've been told.
Yeah. Because either they feel too stupid or they're just like, well, no, I believe this. You believe something that is clearly bullshit.
Yeah.
Came out and said they self-deleted Kennedy, you know, and they had a hand in it. We've always wondered, you know, we knew it wasn't just one man on a grassy knoll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah, it's just, and like Vinny's talking about proof of things and just things right there in your face, you know. We have this from Tucker Carlson, who he had recorded a interview with the former chief of the Capitol Police, Stephen Sund, back in I think April. And then before he could air it, Fox let him go, supposedly as part of the settlement with Dominion, which is a little weird. Fox didn't even try to fight that, but you know, that's neither here nor there right now. So then they tried to, this is where it gets at least more malicious, is Tucker started posting on Twitter and Fox sent him a cease and desist. Like, you can't keep me from Mr. Pro America, America First. We're all about the First and Second Amendment network. You can't keep me from participating on social media. If I want to talk on social media, I'm allowed to do that. You don't own me physically. So yeah, they tried to shut Tucker up when he moved over to Twitter, now X. But yeah, there's a loophole in his contract. They say, but I just say he's participating in social media. You can't tell him he can't do that. So Tucker re-interviews Stephen Sund, who's also written a book, which I really want to check out. But they basically got rid of him after keeping Sund out of the loop on a certain date. And got someone in there, just like regime change in different countries. They got one of their guys in there who's going to say what they want him to say in the pre-approved lines and everything. And if you just dig a little deeper than the surface, which is all these people need to do, that's the worst part, is that it's truly ignorance that's taking this country down, that's destroying Western civilization. But if they just dug a little deeper into these things with an open mind, man, a lot of our problems would clear up overnight.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to talk to you about this on your stream yesterday, Vinny, but what did you think of this interview?
I think it was one of the more important ones for sure, because it confirms exactly who's responsible and who turned away all the help and all the police, and it's the stuff that we knew. He confirmed it. You know, again, this is the ex-chief of police, the Capitol Police there, and he said Nancy Pelosi is the one who turned it all away. So how aren't there major investigations? How is no one talking about this everywhere? You know, this man has been silenced. The people, the whistleblowers, the other cops who were involved, they all got punished. He said every single one of them.
Yeah.
To cover it up.
Well, this is basically Operation Northwoods set on our own country. You guys remember when they tried to instigate us with Cuba and the whole try to start a war there? Yeah, that's all this is. I mean, they've already found, like, oh, what Ray Epps is going to sue everybody now? Really? Okay, let's see him try. We'll start when we start doing the research and we start digging into him and find out he's a freaking Fed.
Yeah, well, you know, he's acting on advice, and I hate to say it, but I don't know where those trials are going to take place, but if it's in DC, I mean, there ain't nothing you can do about it, which is heartbreaking. I mean,
It's a stage, man. Like this whole thing is a stage, and it literally this was a setup from the beginning, and it's why I got kicked off Facebook. You know, when I had I had a friend who's former military. He's a veteran, and him and his wife are walking on the mall toward that building, and she's Vietnamese or Cambodian, I don't know what it is, but she's like, honey, look, and she's looking at her phone, and it was just basically like, why is there fire? Why are they showing fire here? Like, we're literally right here. Like, that's literally like the camera pans down, pans up, pans down. And I was like, what's going on? And yeah, that got me kicked off Facebook because I shared it.
Oh, it was literally fucking CGI that they put out there.
Yeah, it was like ABC News is like chaos unfolding at the Capitol. Insurrectionists launch an assault on the United States or whatever. And it was like smoke and fire and all this stuff, and it showed all the people. And she's like, literally, look, like we're standing right where the photo is being taken.
She's like, where's the fire? What's going on?
And meanwhile, they're standing behind a blazing building, talking about fiery but mostly peaceful, like Hawaii is now. Actually,
don't believe your lying eyes,
because we didn't start the fire.
Yes. So on a bit of better news, I think we need that right now. I don't know if I can play the song on here. I don't want to, just in case. But for those who didn't go follow this man, he joined Twitter yesterday. I haven't checked his sub count today, but he just joined yesterday and got almost 100,000 followers right away.
Oh, shit.
And
what?
John Rich, who's probably the most honest man in the music industry today, real good guy, offered to pay for and produce his music. This is a factory worker, Oliver Anthony, who released a song yesterday called the Richmond North of Richmond, which of course is Washington, D.C. Just a really good song. I saw a few bad takes on it, from non-leftists saying, oh, well, it lacks grit. But I think it's a great song. I think he released it yesterday, if not within the past few days, but I heard it myself yesterday. Beautiful song. So make sure to go follow this guy on Rumble, follow him on Twitter, show him some support. I know he released his song on all major platforms. You can purchase it for 99 cents or whatever the price may be at each specific platform. But did everyone get a chance to hear this song?
No, not yet.
Dan Bongino just covered something on that, and where he was able to play a percentage of the song because the dude gave him credit. So you can find it on his thing too, on his shorts on Facebook.
Awesome. Yeah, like
the banjo.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard it, I suggest taking 3 minutes out. I mean, this song, I was at work when it was being shared to me yesterday, so I couldn't listen to it right away. But then I got home, put it on, and then I ended up replaying it just over and over again. Vinny, he talks about he wishes politicians would care about the miners instead of miners on an island somewhere. Damn, dude.
Nice.
No, it's spot on, dude. It's spot on. That's Seth from the men's room shared it with me, and as soon as I heard it, I started sharing it out. I was like, okay, yeah, this needs to be heard.
That's great.
Yeah, but props to him. He was a factory worker, I'm hearing, and now John Rich is offering to produce an album for him. The guy has gotten more hits and followers and than I think I've ever seen. At least any just average somebody coming from nowhere, 100,000 followers in a day, and he probably broke that. Last time I checked, it was at like 5 o'clock last night Pacific time, Yeah. So good on him. I hope him the best. And this is exactly what we need is culture, that like the right has a certain stigma with them when it comes to art. And one reason is because the old guard didn't take art or culture serious. So you'd get those like cheesy kind of Hallmark Christian movies or whatever, the kind of, cheesy bands, whatever. But man, this song has grit to it. And yeah, it's just good to see the culture again kind of turn in our favor.
Yeah.
And
It
Tom
was awesome.
McDonald released a new one too the other day. That's Our America.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, that chubby guy, Levy, the one from that American Idol thing or one of those things. He did the I think I showed you guys. He did a couple of songs that like hit #1, and Apple and everything. They're trying to discredit it, and like it was all during the pandemic because it was the same thing. This is a war on religion, I think was the name of it, or this the war, something like that.
Yeah.
Great catch, but he breaks it all down, and he's with that other rapper too, that one white guy, and yeah, they just they spit fire at the government and everything that's going on. Like, people, wake up, open your eyes. Look what they're doing.
Yep.
And I agree, Kurt Cobain. Like, number one, thank you for joining us. I don't know if that's like, sorry, your name's not too familiar to me, but I don't know if that's a like dig at Kurt Cobain, but it sure sounds like it. All I'm saying.
Yeah,
yeah. But thank you for joining. And I agree. And a lot of times it's because like the best songs come from like real emotion and struggle and suffering and pain. And like a lot of times in politics, people just want to get their way, so the art is going to come off not as great, and that goes for either side,
Some of it is, but there's a few that I've heard that, like, they've hit millions and millions and millions of views, and they are pretty damn good songs. There are a few that are like just pure cringe, but I don't know. People are putting some good stuff out there.
And yeah, Godzillionaire nails it. He's like, the mistake was 40 years ago. The right said, art, let bundles of sticks handle that. And that's basically it, That's true.
Well, Vinny, that song, I've heard it, makes me feel about the same way when I'm looking at this.
Nice.
So that's how good the song is. It's a good song. And there's America. Right there, right in your face.
Artwork.
So, yeah.
Thank you for always plugging my stuff.
Yeah, man.
As long that's America, as long as he's not on Twitter.
Right.
Then he becomes America's ass.
Since Twitter doesn't exist anymore, X gonna delete you.
No, I don't know. The problem though is creative stuff has always been full of commies. Like Razorfist had that awesome video on Hollywood always being red. The problem though is the conservative, the right, they're too concerned with trying to survive and building productive things, whereas the liberal left is generally spoiled rich kids or people who are who are so in squalor that they're falling for the bullshit that they're being told by spoiled rich kids. You know what I mean? And when the problem with the whole dichotomy that we've created of conservatives versus liberals or Republicans versus Democrats is we don't realize that it's actually a false dichotomy. They're the same thing. Republicans and Democrats are the same exact thing. If anything, I would say that the Democrats are evil and the Republicans are controlled opposition, meaning they're both evil.
Yep.
This whole there are Democrats out there or people that I know that vote Democrat or whatever that I actually listen. Like, I listen to their words and I'm like, yeah, I actually agree with a lot of that. I've always considered myself pretty left leaning, but now I'm considered an extreme far right, whatever, because there are certain things I just won't go along with. It's unfortunately my threshold got exceeded earlier than J.K. Rowling's. Like, she just kept going, and then when hers got exceeded, they all turned on her. And everybody's going to run into that if they're not a centrist. If they're not a centrist with a certain leaning and they're adopting these extreme ideologies, they're always going to hit that cult backlash.
But again, most of that shit, it is dictated by money anyway. If your product's making money or whatever, then you get approached. That's basically what it is, and they want you to comply to their narratives.
Yep.
You want to make more money? You want to make even more money? I'll do what you're told.
And it comes from both sides too, because like if you got like the left, you'll get like what we're seeing in Hollywood. If you got the right, you got like the cringy Christian stuff, where it's like, not everybody who's conservative is exactly that specific sect of conservatism. That what is it? The what Kurt Cobain is saying is like Tom McDonald's freaking he's the worst or whatever. Like, yeah. Maybe he is for a lot of people, but there is a very distinct right-wing side that loves that dude. You know what I mean?
Which one is that guy? Is he the one with all the tattoos all over?
Yeah, he's the white rapper guy. He's actually got some amazing the guy's actually been knocking it out of the park. Me personally, I don't like rap, so
what Tom McDonald?
Yeah. I mean, he could be great, but that's like telling a fish about flying.
Yeah. So I guess there's a big stink. A certain sect of people are saying that the Richmond, north of Richmond, is I don't know if they're trying to make it like a Confederate versus like Union thing, a South versus North thing, but people are having to, including him, he's having to clarify. Richmond, north of Richmond, refers to Washington, D.C. politicians. This is no way a knock against people from up north. Which they know that. They know that they're just trying to find an angle to attack it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's about class struggle, something they know a lot about. And that just kind of shows, a lot of us, we're all experiencing and fed up with the same problems. It's just some people think the answer to those problems is giving more power and influence to the people that created those problems, which is exactly what government does. Mm-hmm. They create problems and then siphon away more power from us, the individual, in order to quote unquote solve it. Other people think we're all adults here. We're all grown men and women, and in this day and age, whatever else, we can solve our own problems. Just handle the foreign policy, deal with relations with other countries. We've got this country. So, yeah. We all agree on the problems. We just need to come together on a solution.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what made America so great was the fact that everybody kind of had a place here and you could do your own thing. And now they're trying to make us conform to their way. That's not the way it should have been to begin with. If you left somewhere and you're going to try to force your shit on us, you need to go back to where you were from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there is no American culture anymore. Or there is it's like when they attack white people and they're like, there is no white culture. Really? Then what was the Scottish Highland Games that I went to? Or what about the Italian Bake Off that I went to? Like, those aren't white culture things. Like,
remember, everything is originated from African Americans, buddy. You bigot.
No,
Jesus.
It's the fish effect. Like a fish will tell you what water because it's surrounded by it. It's so engulfed in it that it doesn't even see it. And same thing with American culture. There's all kinds of American culture and Western culture,
Yep. Yeah. Go live abroad and ask for ranch dressing.
You had me abroad.
No, honestly, like a lot of these people don't understand. Like, if you've ever lived outside of the United States and you hear an American accent, it's like, oh, thank God. Like you don't care if they're black, Asian, Latino, whatever,
Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, hey. But like, you hear that and you're like, oh, thank God, somebody that not only understands my language but comes from my culture, and they don't understand that with all the Marxist divisiveness. Like, if you actually were to look up the etymological origin of the word diversity, you would see it comes from Latin diversitas, meaning to basically divert or deflect or distract. So, yeah, it was never our strength. It was their strength to control us. And
Yeah.
we are so consumed with all of our superficial differences that we forgot what our similarities are. We shouldn't be focusing on our differences.
Yeah.
Don't praise differences, praise similarities. You may be X, Y, or Z, but guess what? You're still with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because
Yeah.
people were trained. They're trained by government to hate one another and to fight. That's what it all came down to. Because if we're all fighting, then they can keep pulling the strings.
Yep.
You
Dance
gotta
my
keep
puppets.
separated.
Yeah.
It's just it's
Divided
so sad.
we fall.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that modern Marxist arrogance of youth thing, where we're okay, boomer, like discrediting the wisdom of the ages, those who have come before, they're training these newer generations to not learn from the past, to rewrite the past, essentially.
Yeah.
Because we lived through this shit. We saw how well we were going pre those towers falling.
Yeah,
we already had most of this shit taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and you remember listening to your grandparents and what they said? You were like, oh, that was truth. Like you're never like, nah, he's an old dumb piece of shit. I know better than him. Like, no. Like when my grandparents spoke, I was like, oh my God, you flew a bomber and it got shredded by shrapnel or flak? Wow. So you saw people die? That's scary. Yeah, it was. Wow. That's why this is why it shouldn't happen again, and it's like now it's like them old okay boomer, shut up, dumb boomer. I'm not even a boomer. I'm
again,
a Gen
the
Xer.
school's taking the kids and telling them don't listen to your parents. And again, like you were saying, Vinny, they're programmed into this shit.
Yep.
And so many people let it happen, and then when they finally figured it out, it was too little, too late.
That's exactly it.
Sadly.
Yeah. Godzillionaire says we're a society in decline. Honestly, how much technology is better today than it was 5 years ago, 10, 15 years ago? PlayStation 5.
Yeah. The only technological advancement that I can honestly say that I've noticed in the last almost 20 years was the iPhone, or the touch tactile surface small phone from a consumer electronics perspective. But everything else, it's
but that's the main item that they use to fucking control us. That's why it's the only thing that it's that advanced. If you look at it and think about it, there's a reason why they did that. It's because that's the perfect machine that they were going to make us all comply with. They push the propaganda. We have news. As soon as you wake up, you can look right at it. Whatever they want to push in our face. We have, and it's so easily corrupted. Like you said, China infiltrated all this stuff. Look what TikTok is doing to everyone's accounts and everything. That why fraud is shot through the roof. It's all thanks to that technology.
Well, I can think of one thing that's gotten better, and Godzillionaire even says we had iPhones 15 years ago. Has it gotten any better since? I can say one thing that's a technological improvement, just right off the top of my head. And there are some in web development and coding too I could mention, but that kind of, the reusable rocket.
Oh yeah.
It's SpaceX
Musk
created.
Yeah, that is a game changer.
Still for something that's supposed to be getting exponentially better. Yeah, it does feel like technology has slowed down, but yeah, I was going to say what made me think of the reusable rocket. I was going to say the electric car, but then I'm kind of I don't know if that's any better.
No. And that actually came out over 100 years ago. The first electric
We should be
car.
driving a water car, man.
Yeah, but that guy died mysteriously months after.
Yep. That and they screwed Tesla as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It just... I noticed that when they started shoehorning PC games onto consoles, and I was like, we're starting to stagnate as an industry. There's no more innovations. The last new genre of video games required toy plastic instruments.
Mm-hmm.
That was 15 years ago.
Yeah. And
the Wii was fun. I will admit, the Wii was kind of fun when it comes technology, wise.
Yeah, but the Wii came out in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, though,
That's
we lived
15 years ago.
We still live to see it, though.
Yeah.
We got to play with it first, yo.
We know how much you like playing with your Wii.
He played with it so much, he's blind in one eye.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. That was
No,
low-hanging fruit.
It's true though. Like,
Yeah.
if you go into like a modern bar or something that doesn't, like, back in, you know, the 80s, you could go into a little diner that had a 50s feel to it, and they'd play 50s music and whatever. It was from 30 years ago. But if you go into an average store today, they'll be playing like Sugar Ray or something from 25, 30 years ago, but like non-ironically, not part of any theme. Just
Mm-hmm.
our culture is decaying and just dying out. You know, it's stagnant and decaying. Like,
Well, modern music, dude. Like they say that like your taste in music stops when you leave high school, but like for me, you know, I graduated in the 90s, so like for me, I found my music taste stopped in like the 2000s. There are very few bands out of the noughties or the aughts or whatever that like I find anything other than insufferable. Like the urbanized music of mumble rap and gangster rap, like that's not music. It sounds like the default track
Like,
of a Casio keyboard.
for me, when everything started going emo on the rock side and crunk on the rap side, I was kind of like, falling out of music. I wasn't as into it as I once was.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Listen to better music.
Yeah.
No,
But
dude, sorry.
No, I'm just saying back. It's the same thing with the video games and movies and everything else, dude. It's like everything's just stagnating and dying.
Dude, Carrie
Damn.
Underwood is singing Ozzy Osbourne's "Mama, I'm Coming Fucking Home." Okay, that's horrible. When I listen to Ozzy's Boneyard, I don't want to fucking hear her. I'm not a country fan. No, I do enjoy the guy that did the song, but I'm not really into country music. And the country music I listen to is old country music. So Hank Williams, Senior, Junior, you know, not this shit of today.
Like
Randy
arena
Travis.
country and shit.
I remember when Randy Travis was new country, and now he's old as shit. Just like me.
Yeah. No,
Garth Brooks. I remember when he was new.
Kurt Cobain heard the Muzak version of "Nothing Else Matters" in the elevator. Yeah.
Oh, that is rough.
Yeah.
I think I heard that, or like my wife put on like Jungle Cruise or whatever from Disney a couple days ago. And I'm like, I wasn't paying attention. I'm over here coding or whatever. And the movie starts with Metallica, and I'm just like bobbing, like, yeah, Metallica. And then I fucking hear The Rock start talking or something. Like, what are we watching? But it's like that. Yeah, that's, you're old when Metallica's in Disney movies and elevators. Yeah.
No, you know what? What really freaking threw me for a loop was one day I actually heard I was at my nephew's baseball, and we're sitting in the stands, and the soccer mom drives up with her minivan, and she was playing, and I shit you not, the Kids Bop version of Evanescence, "My Immortal." And I'm like, there's a bunch of kids singing a song about mourning their dead lover.
Yeah, like the Kids Bop version of WAP and like all that stuff.
Yeah,
be brutal
it's
now.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
They like censor shit too in those songs, and rewrite it, and have somebody else sing it. It sounds so off a lot of the time.
Reminds me of taking the album and speeding it up, so it's like Alvin and the Chipmunks or the old albums where you could slow it down.
I remember in I think it was high school or a little bit out of high school, getting a ride from my buddy's mom or whatever, and I was with him, and we were in the back seat, and they had, like, because his sister's younger, had a Kids Bop album, and they're playing songs. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like this, I'm like, that sounds terrible.
Dude,
How could you,
at
like-
least it wasn't like that, like the preschool shit. I would probably lose my shit, you know.
The lullaby version.
The
of
phone. The
Yeah,
phone
we-
is ringing.
Well, I heard that Metallica is they're gonna cover Baby Shark next.
Oh god.
Yeah.
They did the SpongeBob theme at a show already.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
but that was awesome because the SpongeBob thing rules.
Sorry, Miss
When
Jackson.
you older, got a special thing going on. You say it's puppy love, we say it's full grown.
Justin
Hope
Bieber.
that we
Flow out of
feel this way forever.
Just
You can
heard.
plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. Miss Jackson, 10 times out of 9. Know if I'm blind, fine. The quickest muzzle through.
What the?
What did I just
Jeez.
see?
What the hell?
Me
It's like
and
that
your
French
daughter.
song. Yeah, you remember that one where there's like a freaking baby? They like some French like dance song from the early 90s
Oh,
where it's
the
just like
Ooga
some
Chaka
baby. No, he's like, oh, la, baby. And they just like remixed it into a dance song.
Oh.
And I was like, you French people are fucked up, man. It's like, yeah, this was number 4 on the hits. But like over in Germany, my ex, she's like, yeah, the Mask song was number 1 for a while. You remember that cartoon Mask?
Yeah,
The,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the intro to that fucking show, the song "Illusion is the Ultimate Weapon," actually reached the Billboard charts in Germany.
Oh wow.
The theme song to a
That's
fucking
crazy.
cartoon.
Have you ever heard that song with that guy? He's like, ah, the thing, ding, ding," or he does the weird fucking like thing with his tongue or whatever, and he has that weird.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
yeah. That guy's awesome, dude. That freaking the Russian dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember what the hell that song's called. But yeah, that dude was badass, man. You see the chicks in that video? Damn.
all I could think of was where Tony cut it. Is Stacy's mom has got it going on. That's where it was going to go to next. You know, because the kid was running the other way. That little girl's name was Stacy. You know, so yeah.
Frankie
Jumped.
knows that kid is gonna get jumped.
Oh,
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, he can only pull that shit in a little white suburban area. Imagine
Oh,
pulling
yeah.
that shit. in
Yeah, you know
downtown
who's gonna
freaking-
jump him though? Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, no, a radio controlled car with a screaming woman just drives by it like a bucket. He just plows through him.
Oh,
He
yeah.
explodes like that guy at the end of RoboCop.
Yup.
Oh shit!
Well, the kids pop sensors missed a soft A.
Yeah,
The
like
two
like
black
how
kids
could
at
you,
the school ain't happy.
how could you how could you put those songs like you imagine how like soul numbing that must be if you're like the kid wrangler trying to get all these little shits together to sing in a chorus like My
Well, you
Immortal
know,
by
he probably likes
Evanescence.
cheese pizza.
Wait, Kevin Spacey?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
there you go.
like
I wasn't
you know
gonna say
they
it.
you know those kids have no idea what the lyrics are talking about. They're like, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry being here.
Well, I don't know. We've kind of heard about what happened with certain Disney stars, so maybe they do.
Mm.
Oh god, and
Yeah.
Nickelodeon there.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
fat dude who was into kids' feet.
Oh shit!
Vitus is the name of that guy.
Yeah, Vitus?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, apparently that was like number 1 in like
Mhm.
all of like Eastern Europe and Russia.
Yep.
That is
Yeah.
bizarre.
You know that dude like high pitched and everything. That dude's getting some seriously mad tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put
Like,
it in
all the
private.
chicks in that video. I was like, damn, man. European dance
Yeah.
clubs look a lot better than American ones.
Dude, everything's looking but like if you look at some of these newer like Arab cities and shit, they look like straight out of a futuristic novel, you know, and
Mhm.
everything here. We just signed the $1 trillion infrastructure plan, and I
Things
mean,
are
I
falling
ain't
apart.
seen no improvements in my town. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it looks like a Resident Evil. It looks like Raccoon City after the outbreak.
Yep.
yeah, everything's fucking crumbling and falling apart. Like, I used to brag about Las Vegas because even though we were a city, we were cheap. It was very inexpensive to live here compared to other cities. And then my wife and I would drive out to LA, and the roads were old, and roads that should be 4 lanes and 6 lanes were only 2 lanes, and they were crumbling and falling apart. And I'm like, I really don't appreciate my city that much. We have nice roads, everything's new. We grew like 4 or 5 times in the past 20, 30 years. I mean, the city is just blown up. So all the streets are wide, and there's plenty of parking, and I mean, all that is slowly, like, obviously we still have wide streets, but half the time they're down to 1 or 2 lanes because of construction. Even though nothing ever gets done on the fucking street,
Right.
they're full of potholes, or the street is worse when they're done with the construction and it's all uneven, and all that's starting to like fall apart that I used to appreciate about my city. It went from like,
sorry.
no, I'm just saying, before the pandemic, like maybe 2 years, 3 years before the pandemic, it was like 600 for a 1-bedroom apartment out here, or a studio, and now it's over 1,000.
You can thank
It's
the
everywhere, though,
cancerous tumor.
sadly.
No, it's an exercise in showing you how cancer spreads throughout the healthy
Oh, yeah.
body. This is California that moved into Vegas.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere. Like even
Well, it's
here,
doing
when
it
I
to
had
Texas
an apartment,
and
it was
Florida.
the same price. $300 for an apartment, sure, no problem. And now here, to not live in the ghetto, with the gutter trash, because I'm not going to use your words, Chris, even though I really, really want to right now. I mean, I really want to, but we're not on Rumble. But
Those are our words, Cracker.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. You really did. But I am wearing a certain shirt here, and we do have one. So it's on the shirt. But yeah, it's that way here too. It's like $1,200 a month, dude, to not live in the ghetto, and be in a good apartment and be safe. And that's nuts.
Well, I saw rental properties skyrocket over the last 10 years, where when I first moved back to New England, and moved into New Hampshire, and I was renting a basically like a penthouse style one. I think it was 600 something square feet. So it was like a very small, modest penthouse apartment for $1,100 a month. Okay. This was coming from California, where I was spending $2,000 a month for like an 800 square foot. So I was like, okay, fine. It's half the price, a little smaller. I'll definitely, I'm happy here. Well, what I noticed was every year when I had to renew the lease, it started going up and up and up and up. And my sister the other day, actually what happened was in 2018, I'm like, dude, I'm now paying as much as I was paying in California, living up here in Podunk, New Hampshire. So I was like, I'm going to have to buy a property. And I wanted to buy a house, but I couldn't afford any of the real estate up here because it's all Indians. Like all the tech companies in the area, they just import a bunch of Indians. So it's like these families of like 4 or 5 incomes pool their assets together, which I don't blame them. I would do that too. Yeah. But they can outmuscle financially anybody that any American trying to buy like a decent house. And so I started looking a little smaller, and I found a townhouse, a connected unit. And I was like, okay, spent everything I had, threw into it. And, I looked at my rent, and I looked at what I was paying for, mortgage and all that and condo fees. And it has stayed below what I was paying in California from 2018 to now. Like it has barely gone up, if any, like usual, the utilities or whatever go up, but whatever. Right. My sister ended up looking back at that apartment complex that I was at, and she's like, "Oh my God, dude, I was looking at the floor plans, and now these are not like specific to like penthouse. Like penthouse, obviously you're going to pay more. It was up to $2,300 a month to start, and this wasn't even the penthouse. And they're going to keep jacking it up and jacking up. So you are playing a losing game in rental properties. You are not going to win that.
Yep. It's designed that way.
Well, we fucking rent to like foreign nationals now and shit. Fucking foreign investors and people who have no problem jacking up prices like that and fucking buying up huge blocks of fucking land and real estate, and that we shouldn't be doing that. It's everything. That's what's so great about that Oliver Anthony song. He basically points out everything's fucking against us these days. Everything is going against Americans. Like, not even any specific group. Like, yeah, white men sure get dogged down a lot, and men in general, but I mean, everything's going to hell for all of us. And I mean, everyone's so frustrated and negative now because of it. And it's like, I wish people would learn, like, at the end of the day, we're all on the same side. Like, for as much as they say it's not about class these days, it sure is becoming about class,
Yeah.
Well, there's only two classes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Us
sign.
and them.
If they tell you it's not about class, it's definitely about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, we've got to get wrapping up here. So, because you're watching Collision tonight, right, Draven, over on your channel?
We'll just watch it tomorrow because we were gonna do it. It's like 11 now, so we'll just do it tomorrow.
Shit, I'm sorry, dude.
No, that's fine. The only reason I was gonna watch it live tonight is because originally ETEP wasn't gonna be doing his show.
Yeah, we weren't doing nothing. So
So-
you brought us together, man.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad I could do my part. Hell yeah. So tell them about tomorrow. What time is Collision, and what do you got going on, bro?
Oh, so tomorrow we'll watch Collision before Vinny's stream. Probably like 7. It's 2 hours, so 7 o'clock. We'll watch tonight's episode of Collision tomorrow, and then that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me. Always fun being here.
Hell yeah, brother. It was a pleasure. Chris, what do you got going on, man?
Oh yeah. Well, other than printing this insanely long Ghostface Killer mask. Oh God. Maybe next week it'll be finished printing.
Yeah.
I'm continuing working on my Infinitale Chronicles series. We've been getting in some pages here and there, and progress. I'm hoping that now that the first book's already kind of available on Amazon, you can grab it now, kids. It's under $10. I'm working on book 2, and dude, I can't wait to show some of this stuff because this book's going to be beefy. It's going to be over 116 pages, and I'm getting some of the cool, like some of the more ramping up stuff, because like the first book is like an introduction to the world. You got to get people interested, get them introduced to the characters in the world. Second book, it's like, okay, yeah, now that that's out of the way, let's start getting really fucked up. So I can't wait to see people's reactions to this, and we're hoping to kick it off by December. So and thanks for having me, man.
Sweet, man. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, I can't wait to check out that second chapter.
Woo!
Old Man Hillbilly.
Well, yes. I mean, come on, Chris, take my money. You're saying it's 120 pages times 2.
That's right. We got variant books.
Variant books. So, see, I'm doing my job and I'm not that high. No, man, it's good because, tomorrow night, of course, we'll be with Draven, and then we'll be with Vinny. And then Monday with ETEP's Place to Be reviews for, Going in Raw. Wednesday, the good old, I don't even know what's going on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, but stay tuned and you'll find out. Because, I don't really have a program card, but that's as far as we need to get to is tomorrow, right? So there we go. We know what's going on tomorrow. That's all that matters. But if you could help me, I'm trying to help my sister get her channel up to 500 subs. They need like 160 or so. Black Death Gaming. Check out the men's room. Give Seth and the boys some love because God knows they need it. And keep coming back and hanging out with us here because it's always fun. It's even when the big dog's not here, the backup crew's here, and hopefully we entertain each and every single one of you. Because I don't know about you guys, I had a blast. So thanks for doing this, Tony. You rock.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. Brutal, are you available?
Yeah, I'm around. I'm just, like I said, I'm away from home, so I'm trying to give my buddy and his kids their privacy and shit.
Yeah.
That and I really just soaking it all in, and this world is lost. This world is lost.
You are right.
I just want to hail this panel, hail this channel, and hail this chat. Hold your loved ones dear. Teach them right from wrong, how to take care of themselves. I don't know. Anyway, thanks, guys. This is good to get in touch. Out here in the dismal swamp,
Hell yeah, dude. And that's
So,
truth you're spitting, man. Like,
yeah, that's it. That's
hold
it.
your
It's real simple, man. Just hold your loved ones dear and teach them right, and just mind your business. And you can't help somebody from choking if you're choking. You can't help somebody from drowning if you're drowning. You gotta have your own. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for the invite.
Hell yeah, thank you, brother.
I like that sentiment. Put on your arm floaties first.
Yeah.
Rip them off your neighbor's kid. Put them on yourself so that you don't drown.
You put the mask on yourself first before you help.
Before you help.
Obviously, yeah. No, I was trying to make a joke that failed. I have a really bad headache. Anyway, no, this was great. I'm happy I came on here. You guys are always fantastic, and we're spitting fire, we're spitting truth, and that's why they hate us. It's crazy, but yeah, like Brutal said, hold your loved ones, teach them right from wrong, and try to do the best that you could, because this world is truly fucked. But in the meantime, I'm working on some good projects. I want to get some entertainment out there that doesn't have any of the bullshit agenda or any of that other crap. And I'm working on City Venus too, getting a number of pages done. It's a good thing, I'm bringing the sexy back into comics and keeping it there, because you're gonna have an awesome story. It's gonna be a bigger book. It's gonna be around 52 pages. So yeah, man, and I'm starting to get into more of the fun stuff now. So I can't wait to show you guys. There's still gonna be some time before I launch it, but I'm hoping to at least get the what do you call it, the sign up by the end of the year. It's gonna be awesome, because I guarantee you every project that I release, the new one is better than the previous one. And all of my stuff, it has been top tier. So that's not just me blowing smoke. They've said it across the board. Get out there, grab some of my books. You can still get them. City Venus 1's still available. Shadow of the Kraken, Through the Woods. Get all that great stuff. You're going to be happy that you did. And tune in tomorrow around 9 p.m. or right after Draven's stream. And we're going to talk about some more stuff. And we'll make sure Rumble's going to get the majority of it, so we can actually talk, and it'll be great.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm
Much
looking
love.
forward to tomorrow. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Make sure to support all these independent artists. Make sure to support Nerium and Red or Dread. And yeah, everybody working hard to just build culture and make the world a little bit better. Give you hope again. Give you heroes and characters that you can have faith in and believe in, and know that they're not going to start preaching some bullshit at you or secretly hate you. We need that. The world needs that. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It was kind of impromptu. Like ETAP wasn't gonna have a show tonight, and then next week he's gonna be at Horror Hound with Draven and possibly Adam.
Yep.
And I figured why not? Like, it's been a long. I think the last time I guest hosted a show for ETAP was when he was here in town. And he was out seeing a show on a Monday night, so we held it down over here. But it's been a long time. And, I'm sorry about Rumble, too. That was, like, one thing I was thinking about, is I really wanted to talk to you guys on Rumble so we can really talk about, like, the Tucker Carlson interview and
Mhm.
what the judge was saying to Trump and just a whole plethora of other topics. But I'll get that down next time. It won't air out. And until then, like Vinny said, you can join everyone tomorrow. It'll be a great conversation. It always is.
Oh, and Tony, if you want to continue some of that tomorrow on mine, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Dude, it's
bro.
always a blast over there, man. So
For sure.
yeah, other than that, yeah, make sure to catch Collision tomorrow over on Draven's channel, and we'll be back here for Going in Raw on Monday. So have a good night, everyone. Happy weekend. Like Brutal said, hold your loved ones close.
Happy early birthday,